Alright, so let's talk about the Google Pixel 7 Pro. So this phone is pretty similar to the Pixel 6 Pro that came out a year ago, but there are some minor refinements in all the areas. So it's got a 6.7-inch display, which is the same as the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the 14 Plus, and roughly the same as the Galaxy S22 Plus. So it's got a 120Hz refresh rate like last year, and now it has LTPO, which means that the refresh rate can go all the way down to 1 Hz. And this helps to save battery when always on display is on. So some changes to the design as well. It's mostly the same as the Pixel 6 Pro. There is not much of a difference like we saw from the 5 to the 6, but you'll notice a change to the back where around the cameras it's now an aluminum frame instead of the glass one. But I do think the glass one looked better. It was much more sleek and elegant, but the metal does make it a bit more durable, so I'll take it. So now with the camera, on the rear you got a 50 megapixel main camera with a 12 megapixel ultra wide and a 48 megapixel telephoto, which allows for 5 times optical zoom. The phone's also got laser detect autofocus, which is basically when the phone throws out a bunch of laser rays to analyze the depth of the surroundings and therefore enhance images. And this especially helps with portrait mode pictures. Now for the front camera, it's a 10.8 megapixel camera, which is not bad, but I would have expected better. So most pictures that you see on your smartphones nowadays aren't the actual raw images, rather a much more refined version made by the software. So the megapixel count we shouldn't pay much attention to. It's really just based on how the image processing works and like how it comes out. And some other features are macro focus, magic eraser, which they introduced with Pixel 6, motion mode, which is basically like action mode on the iPhone 14s, and motion autofocus, which is similar to cinematic mode but not quite. So the battery, they say, can last you easily more than a day on moderate usage. And they also have this extreme battery saver mode now, which can pull your battery to an outrageous 72 hours. And that is assuming all the apps you use are phone, messages, and settings. Simple. Okay, so well, yeah, obviously you're not gonna keep this on the whole time, but for when you need it, it's there. So in this event, Google also introduced their Pixel Buds Pro and their Pixel Watch. I will be making videos about that, so subscribe. So obviously this is the second generation of the Tensor chip that first came out with the Pixel 6 last year, and now it's just the second generation in the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro now. A big focus of this chip was on security, and they call this security processor Titan M2, which basically handles all processes on your device, so none of your health information or anything like that needs to be sent to Google in order to be processed, and it can all be done on your phone. So with this new chip, Google claims that machine learning is going to be 60% faster while being 20% more efficient. So Google promises a minimum of 5 years of security updates with this phone, so that's a pretty good thing, especially in the Android world. As we know, updates don't go for longer than 2 years. And one thing Google said will be coming later on is a built-in VPN into this phone, which is a paid service with Google One, but it will be coming out later this year. So this phone goes for $900 in the US, which is the same price as the iPhone 14 Plus, and it's $100 more than the S22 and $100 less than the S22 Plus. So comparatively, I just feel like S22 or the Samsungs and the iPhones are much better choices than Google's, especially for photo quality and all that. So if you're really looking for something a bit more mid-range, then the Pixel 7 is also a good option. I mean, it's not a bad phone, but given you also have an iPhone and a pretty good Samsung at the same price, given that, I just feel you should go with one of those instead. Anyways, that's the end of the video, guys. Thanks for watching. This is MRT, and I'll catch you all in the next one. So just before we end things off here, I just want to show you guys a clip of Google actively mocking Apple throughout their event. Have a look.
Pixel has always been a leader in smartphone innovation, and we take it as a compliment when others in the industry follow our lead, like the always-on display and at a glance introduced with Pixel 2, putting useful info right on your lock screen. And there's Night Sight, which launched with Pixel 3, and astrophotography, which set a new bar for low-light photography on a smartphone. And we introduced car crash detection 3 years ago, along with other important ways to keep you safe, like Safety Check and emergency sharing. It's an amazing track record of pioneering features that were first on Pixel and make the phone experience so much more helpful.